Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Gone Wild live clips and podcast. Today we are talking about Doordash Hater exposed crazy restaurant notes. Where did this come from? So in a recent live stream, Budsoda and I, my co-host, reviewed a video from what seems like a Doordash hater, and while it seems that he has some questionable opinions about DoorDash drivers, he did find something interesting in one of the screenshots that he shared. And it actually sparked a discussion with me and the chat and Bud Soda, and I think it is worth sharing. So in this video, we are presenting a clip from the Gone Wild live stream about what this hater found, what this restaurant is saying versus how it actually is, and everything in between. But before we do that, let's go over a quick disclaimer. The content of this video does not contain, is never intended to be, legal, business, financial, tax, or health advice of any kind. This video is for entertainment purposes only. It is advised that you conduct your own research and consult qualified professionals before applying anything you find online. I also want to be clear that everything that we're going to be going over is very market to market and case by case. What applies to me and my market, Bud Soda's market, or any of the markets that are mentioned throughout the Gone Wild live stream may not apply to you. So with that said, enjoy the clip.
We all know 95% of Dashers are not very bright. They don't give a shit about your food, and they're fucking rude. I want to know what this motherfucker did to have that business say, notifications will be sent when the order's ready. Phones need to be silent. Speakerphone equals ban. Like, bro, what did you do?
Oh my gosh. It's so funny because first off, the guy's a fucking prick. The guy's a prick. 95% of Dashers aren't very bright. 95% of me says shut the fuck up. Joe's in a mood today.
95% of the maybe 95% of the ones he gets because he's that customer that thinks everyone knows as well where he lives, what he does, doesn't put the apartment number, or it's like weird building structures or anything like that, or a person who never responds when you're trying to get a hold of them, and he thinks that all dads are idiots because of it. It's just like if everyone seems to be the problem, maybe you are, bud.
Actually, it's funny you say that because you say it could be a customer. Maybe I'm misreading the screen behind him and you could tell me.
We all know 95% of Dashers are not very bright. They don't give a shit about
that
your
looks
food,
like a
and they're fucking
driver
rude.
side.
I
That
wanna
looks like
know
the
what
driver
this
app,
motherfucker
Dasher
did
app, not a
to have that business say,
customer side. So I'm like,
Maybe
he's either a customer who's that that disrespectful towards Dashers to where he's finding photos on the internet, or he is a Dasher and therefore looks for Dashers, to be a part of that, looking for Dasher groups to be part of that community, and that's what he found. And I'm like,
I'm part of multiple drivers groups on these social medias, and I mean some of them are really really bad, but like I think it's the minority that post and makes everyone look like idiots versus if you actually read the context, and most everyone calls like the bad ones out immediately. So it's like, oh, that's your fault, bud.
yeah,
So I don't think the majority are bad. Now, are there a lot of bad ones out there? Yeah, but I think it's more 5 of the 100 versus 95%. Like most people genuinely at least try and try to be friendly and all that good stuff. Maybe they don't know how to really pick and choose like they should, but I think most people genuinely try to be friendly.
mm-hmm. And you know what? Yeah, there are a lot of drivers that can be rude, and and you're right, it's more like 50 out of the 1,000 or 5% really than the 95%. But it's funny because there are some Dashers who just have that superiority complex to where they think they're the better Dasher over anyone. You're not so much better than everyone else to where you should be treating people that way. First off.
Oh,
Second, Grubhub is asking me to do an order for $7 and 8.7 miles. I'm going to tell them to fuck off.
No.
And third, the note that was mentioned was we will send a notification when the order is ready. 99% of the time, no, they don't. Second, phones need to be silent and speakerphone equals ban. I'm not going to lie. And I've done this too. I'm not going to pretend like I haven't done this. There are people who just come in and they're either FaceTiming their girlfriend or they're just on the phone the whole time. I've done it because I was on a business call trying to set up a meeting for the delivery service provider, and that's happened to me before. But it's funny because it is more common, and I do notice it. It does take somebody acknowledging it for me to notice it now, but yeah, I do notice that there are a lot of drivers that do that.
Yeah. So I've worked retail and restaurants. So like my biggest pet peeve was when someone is on their phone and not, interacting with me the way they need to. And sometimes it's, I get that person like you. They were actually on a business call and I could tell it was. So I'm not like as upset about that if you're trying to deal with work. But if it's like innocuous and usually it's people on speakerphone saying all the stuff you shouldn't say in public. Like sometimes it's amusing, but really it's just annoying because like it's always the person with a stack of lotto tickets and they want more. Oh, did I just say that out loud? Lottery people. Uh, dude, some of them can be the worst. Like, I'm actually happy that here, at least 90% of the places just went, you can turn it in at the counter to get your money, but here's the machine over there in the corner to go, not be a bother to everybody else just trying to get their coffee in the morning,
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because there are conversations that do happen that probably shouldn't happen in a public space. It's never been anything like too damning. It's mostly just been like bullshit casual talk from what I could tell. And yeah, I've been in retail. I've been in other food service and even like banks where you're interacting with people and you shouldn't be on the phone. And I think the thing that bothered me the most about when those situations pop up wasn't so much as that when they're on the phone. It's more so if you're on the phone and it's preventing everyone else from moving forward. If you can't do both, if you can't engage with both parties, get off the phone. Like,
Yeah.
some things require more explanation than just me going, you know what I'm talking about? Like me just hand signaling the whole time um as opposed to me actually speaking it aloud and while maintaining that conversation. And most people who hear me over the phone, they know, like, if they ever catch me on speakerphone, like, they know I'll stop what I'm doing, what I'm talking about over the phone to make sure I'm properly interacting with the person in front of me. But yeah, I do get how people can't do both though, and that does need to be
Yeah.
done properly.
Yeah. So speaking of roommate here, I've called him out on that a few times. I'm like, do you know how rude it is to like be on the phone the whole time with someone who's waiting on you? Whether it's like, well, all I need to do is pay. I'm like, yeah, it's still very rude. And as far as like getting back to the core subjects, I think that a lot of dashers do that, and it needs to, yeah, you need to be a little more discreet, guys, because don't be that dasher. Again, I think it's a minority. We all know that one we've met many times that goes out and does it full time, but they're always yakking on the phone about nonsense. And it's
Mhm.
like, it's always small picture stuff too. It's never big picture.
When I did it, the other driver seemed pretty good. Okay, yeah, I know. There are some that are really good about like making sure they're not like on the phone inside, but some aren't for realistic purposes. There are it is going back like the video expressed it as like, oh, 95%
of dashers are dum-dums and smelly people.
when in reality it's like a handful of people that are so abrupt about it to where it is noticeable. It is like, okay, maybe you should not be on the phone when you're doing this.
Agreed.
But it's always those times where it ends up getting talked about and making those net messages necessary. It is called being rude. Make sure to check out our Patreon for our full live stream replays, exclusive clips I can't post on YouTube, and access valuable benefits and resources for gig workers and self-employed individuals of all kinds. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time. By the way, make sure you join us for the Gone Wyld live stream, and you could be part of the conversation too. We're looking forward to seeing you there.
Tripping was the only wave of must. Taking back, looking backward.